Hi, and welcome to Cover Brand, where we cover all things branding, marketing, and advertising to help you understand what the hell branding is and how it works to grow your business. Welcome and welcome back to Cover Brand. I'm Ethan Decker, your host. And today I'm very excited to have my old friend, my dear old friend, Lili, on the show. How you doing, Lili?
Hey, Ethan. So good to see you.
I know we not quite went to grad school together, but we lived together during grad school.
Exactly. You were getting like a PhD and I was just figuring out what I was going to do with my life.
Well, I'm still figuring that out. I think mostly I was playing ultimate frisbee, and in between it, I was getting a PhD.
I was playing a little soccer and getting ready to maybe go to med school, but decided to go in a totally different direction.
Yeah, life does that to you. First, we have to talk cover songs. You were telling me before we started recording about a specific song you've been thinking of lately.
So Tracy Chapman, Fast Car, has been my song for ice plunges, cold baths. I hear that song and I can handle the bath.
Oh, I can't do ice plunges.
So you get it, the more you do them, the easier it gets. So when there's a resurgence of her song, I liked that it was back all the time because it's one of my favorites. And
Mm.
Luke's cover was pretty good, but not as good as the original.
I agree. Luke's cover was good, but hers was just a bit more poignant. And the album was, I've been re-listening to the album whenever that thing came out, 1991, 88, 75, I don't know. But the whole
That's
album,
college years.
so good. So
It
good.
was. It's so many great songs. We used to listen to it in the car on tape back then, I think.
Cassettes. People did say, I saw some people getting angry about, Luke, a white country guy, covering Tracy, a black woman, young black woman, and not getting her credit or not giving her credit. She got Grammys. She got tons of credit. It was a best-selling album, and he gave her tons of credit. So whoever's saying that was not actually looking at the facts.
They brought her back on the Grammys this year for it.
Yeah, they did a duet.
Yeah.
And Luke was smitten. He was so smitten with her. It was adorable. Yeah. Okay, cover brands. Let's talk about covering brand stuff. Tell me about your business and what the situation is.
So I realized there is just an emptiness in the area of Hanukkah wrapping paper, that you have this amazing Christmas options and you have like two very mediocre options for Hanukkah every time you go into a store. And I live in New York, so it's probably worse elsewhere. So I just wanted to fill a void that I wanted filled. So I started doing that. Plus, my daughter always wanted an advent calendar. And I was like, well, maybe not because we're not celebrating Christmas. Let's do a. So I'd made her a Hanukkah box.
Right.
She kept asking for it. So I also am making some Hanukkah boxes to go with the great Hanukkah paper. And it's basically our tagline is, bringing chutzpah and style to Hanukkah. And I think that
Right.
kind of sums it up.
Chutzpah de Hanukkah. Nice. I like it. So you're a manufacturer of Hanukkah wrapping and wrapping paper and holiday gift stuff.
A Hanukkah 8-night box. And so we put stuff in the box, or you can buy the box on your own and fill it
Oh,
yourself.
great. Great. Okay. And it's going okay so far?
Yeah, it's called Gelt+Glow, and it's a website right now. And then we hit a few spots in New York City occasionally, but it's online for everybody.
Gelt and Glow
Yes.
with the ampersand in the middle.
A plus sign.
A plus sign.
But when you're searching online, you have to do AND, which,
Yeah. Yeah. That's the price of being a hipster brand with the plus in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah. These things we didn't think about long ago about names and naming. How is it going?
So we got the stuff in really late for last year. So we've gotten a lot of really good hits from social media, and people who have seen it have loved it. But we were not in the market really till about December 16th, 17th. So really next year is our first full year, and we're going to see how it goes next year more than this year. I think this year was just like, we want to grab that space and be there, be the first one there. And
Right.
now we'll have a full season.
Okay. What in particular are you struggling with when it comes to growing Gelt and Glow?
So there are a couple things. One is, Hanukkah is over. So like, do I keep doing stuff now or do I wait and push all my energy into closer to the season that the stuff happens? We've been acknowledging other holidays, but there's not as much to sell those other holidays as there is Hanukkah time.
Right. You have an extremely seasonal product.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So some things like coffee and toothpaste are not seasonal, they're year round. Those brands, the research seems to say you should just not go dark. You should just like cover the year with as much marketing as you can, like a nice thin layer of peanut butter or toothpaste. But when it comes to seasonal stuff, it's a different story. And you have a very highly seasonal product, a seasonal brand. It's really about gifting. It's really about Hanukkah, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in that case, yeah, people are not thinking about Hanukkah stuff the rest of the year. Some will wait to the last minute. Some will plan ahead a little bit. In that case, what you probably want to do is focus on your season and make sure you market most heavily just before and leading up to the season. Because one of the principles is the first search engine that people use is their brain. It's their memory. And have they thought of something at all? Do they know it at all? Like if I were to say, what brands of motor oil do you know?
Uh,
Yeah, you. I
I
know
don't
you're such
drive
a motor
much, so
enthusiast.
I'm in New York.
I know you're in New York. You might not even own a car.
We do, but I don't change the oil that often. Mobile, I assume, has a motor oil.
Mobile. There you go. It's one of the very few brands that's in your brain at all, right? I mean, if I said
Mm.
toothpaste, you'd have a few brands, right?
Yes.
Like what?
Well, I went to Colgate, so
Colgate. What else do you know, though? What other brands of toothpaste?
Crest, Aim, uh, maybe there's a few others, but
You'd
those are the ones.
recognize them if you saw them.
Yes.
Yeah. Pepsodent, um,
Tom's is the healthy one.
Tom's of Maine. Yeah. Yeah. Aim. I forgot about Aim. Yeah. Is Pepsodent toothpaste?
Pepsodent's like for when you have dentures, I think.
Okay.
So we're not using that yet.
Yeah. But Colgate and Crest, they come to your mind quickly. So the first search engine really is people's brains. And it turns out a lot of time, people just buy what they know. That's familiar because it feels safe, it feels comfortable. They like it just because it's familiar, not for any other reason. If you've got 6 brands of motor oil to choose from, Mobile is probably going to be at the top of the list just because you've heard of it, just because you know it. Now, technically, that's called the mere familiarity effect, which is a terrible academic name. But it's that notion that if it's familiar, you prefer it. You're comfortable with it. You like it. You're not quite sure why. And there's some really cool studies that show that that effect is a real effect above and beyond what you think of mobile, what you know of mobile, or whether or not you will recognize or remember Quaker State or Pennzoil or
Mm.
I don't know. That's kind of where my brain runs out of motor oil brands. So the same with your company, Gelt and
Glow.
Glow. So Gelt and Glow is a brand new brand to the world. No one's heard of it before. And the notion of wrapping paper for Hanukkah specifically is something you're right. People probably have a hard time finding. So what you want to do is, like Inception, plant that brand in people's brains just before they start to shop. And so when they start to shop, they might think of your brand at all. They might be familiar with your brand. They might have heard it. They might have noticed it. And just because of that, that mere familiarity, as it's called, you will have a bit of an advantage. They might like you a little bit. And certainly they'll even think of you at all and then go find you. So you don't need a big relationship with your customers. That's a topic I love to grind on. But you need them to think of you at all. And so going heavy on your marketing just before the holiday is probably your best bet.
Like a month before, 2 months before.
not even 2 months, a month, a couple weeks. This is where the market research is sometimes helpful to know, well, what are the patterns? How many people shop early and wrap early for Hanukkah, and how many are last minute people? And that'll give you a little sense. But this is why you see retailers, especially grocery stores, launch holidays so damn early, right? It's maddening. Like you go into
One's
the
over, the next one starts.
Yeah, yeah. Dwayne Reed's the big store in New York, right? Like a
Mhm.
corner store,
Yep.
drugstore.
Yep.
Yeah, the second that Halloween is over, you've got Christmas. The second that Christmas is over, you've got Easter. Second Easter or Valentine's. Second
Right.
Valentine's is over, you got Easter. And they want to just plant it in your brain that Dwayne Reed is the right place to get Easter stuff because they want to be the first one for you to notice they've got a big Easter selection. Sometimes I find myself at Target when they're doing the changeover. And of course, the place is a disaster and there's stuff everywhere. And you're like, already? Really? Already?
I have the exact same response.
Yeah. But that's a good strategy for a seasonal business, which is why the retailers do it. So in your case, yeah, don't worry really about planting too many seeds with consumers right now. When it comes to consumers, and the market for Hanukkah wrapping is fairly targeted, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, in the United States, 2% of the population is Jewish, something like that.
I think it's 6 there's about 6 million people.
Yeah, so not many. Not many. The country's like 320, 330. So, I mean, it's a lot fewer than our coverage would suggest. People think, we run Hollywood and all that, but that's for a different podcast. Here we're talking about branding. So in your case, what you could focus on now actually is maybe the most important thing, which is called distribution. And distribution is where your stuff is sold. So you probably are focused right now on e-commerce. You sell directly from Gelt+Glow, and that's great. You probably will do a lot of business eventually selling at retail as well. If there's specific retailers where you can get in and be in their Hanukkah section during the holidays, then that will be as good, if not better, than anything you can do on Instagram or Pinterest to get your stuff out there and get it bought. So the retailer relationships, those take a longer lead time. You don't want to wait till 2 months before to talk about getting your wrapping paper into someone's store.
Right.
And you can do that locally. You can start in New York. It would be good to actually start in New York because it's a fairly larger population of Jewish people, and you can walk to the stores and get those relationships going. Yeah.
I
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
And then after you conquer New York, you can go to Philly, where I grew up and my Jewish family's from, and then Boston, and just grow place by place. But if you're going to do any kind of push for marketing or push to get on people's holiday lists and gift lists and things like that, and on Jewish and Hanukkah type media,
Mm-hmm.
which is probably a small crowd, you can wait to do the marketing to consumers until, I don't know, a month out, assuming some people start early and a lot of people wait to the last minute. And in the meantime, you can think about connecting with retailers so that you are carried and that you've got your distribution lined up. And before that, therefore, you've got to get your shipping lined up. And before that, then you've got to get your manufacturing lined up. So you got to work backwards from all that.
Right.
Cool.
So, plenty to work on, but not the media, not the direct to consumer media right now.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And then for that, turn that on when it's holiday time.
Exactly. Great.
Great. I will say,
and that's very helpful.
good. I will say, having been at ad agencies where they think about the ads a lot,
Mm-hmm.
it's also helpful that I was at a shopper agency, a shopper marketing agency, where I worked on getting products like Gillette and Duracell and Kellogg's into grocers, into retailers, because those timelines are much longer. right? You've got to get the product shipped. You've got to get the product manufactured. If the retailer wants a custom version or a special version, you got to come up with a special version for Target versus Walmart versus Kohl's. So you want to think of that whole timeline and work back from that drop dead date, and then give yourself a nice flexible cushion so that you're not up against the wall with crazy timelines.
Yes, which I learned last year. This year
Yeah.
we're more prepared.
Yes, well, it's very early. It's April now when we're recording, so this is the perfect time to start planning this. Great.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
I plan to check in for more questions with you because you have all the answers.
I've got a couple answers. Absolutely. I'd love to have you back. And I know you've got lots of great questions that are very common and very universal. So whatever we talk about, I'm hoping will be helpful for a lot of people.
Thank you.
Absolutely, Lily. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Take care. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe to the podcast. And if you want to learn more about brand science, head on over to appliedbrandscience.com. Also, if you got something out of this episode, think of one person who might also get something out of it and send it to them as a way of saying, hey, thinking of you.